My roommates' girlfriends confront me for not covering up in my own home, but their boyfriends confront them for talking nonsense. Throw away because my roommates have my other account. I, 21F, live with two male roommates. I get it is kind of a weird dynamic for most people, but it works for us. We have been living together before both of them got GFS. Also, I have had a BF for 4 years who is good friends with my roommates. I have never had issues with their GFS, even though they are at my place at least 5 days a week, but they mostly keep to their BFS rooms and they are truly nice people, so it doesn't really bother me that much. The problem started about 5 months after we had been living together. I guess at some point both of their GFS got together to discuss what I have been wearing around the apartment. They confronted me without my roommates one afternoon, saying they would prefer I cover up when I leave my room because it makes everyone in the house really uncomfortable. I asked them to explain what I am wearing that makes them uncomfortable, to which they responded that they have yet to see me in an appropriate outfit. Now, valid concerns for the most part, but let me give some more context. I never wear anything inappropriate out of my room. I get changed in the bathroom after showers and am always fully covered when I leave my room. I wear baggy t-shirts and hoodies with sweatpants 90% of the time. The most scandalous thing I have worn is a tank top and shorts, not see-through at all, and with a bra if that matters. My shorts cover my ass completely and go to about mid-thigh BTW. All of this to say, my outfits would pass a high school dress code. Not to hype myself up, but I am blessed with a fat ass, which I genuinely think is the biggest problem. The first time they brought it up, I made a point of only wearing sweatpants out of my room, not shorts. However, they brought it up again. They said I thought we talked about your outfits. It makes us really uncomfortable. How would your BF feel about you dressing like this in front of other men? This is where I was confused. I explained that I thought I was being respectful and more considerate of their wishes despite this being my apartment. They said I was not a true girl's girl and that I was just waiting to snatch their BFS. I replied with, it is not my fault you guys are insecure about your relationships, and I have done more than enough to make sure you guys are comfortable in my home. Your BFS have said nothing to me, so I think you are being overdramatic. This is my apartment, you guys aren't on the lease. You are already here significantly more than what is allowed according to our lease, so I would tread lightly about making demands about how I can dress in my apartment. They both said that I was full of myself and that their BFS would not sign a lease with me again. Funny though, after I talked to their BFS alone they had no idea what had happened and they still planned to resign the lease with me. I think it is crazy that they felt the need to gang up on me and try to dictate what I can wear in my own home. I would understand if I was dressing a little scandalous, but I truly am not. How do I navigate this situation, and am I the asshole? Edit, since way more people saw it than I thought would, and this is easier than answering comments. First, my roommates are angels and since I introduced them they have become really close to my BF, who does not live with us BTW. That seems weird, but it's just how things work out, lol. So no, I am not looking for new roommates. As for my roommates apparently not resigning the lease with me, according to their GFS my roommates had no idea why their GFS would say that, and we are literally in the process of resigning the lease now. The GFS have not been over since the last conversation I have had with them, so about 5 days, which is very abnormal for them. According to one of my roommates, I scared his GF a little bit after they confronted me, so me standing up for myself and not caving into their delusion scared them a little bit. So I have yet to have another interaction with them, but apparently they are both coming over tonight. People wondering about what the GFS wear, significantly less clothing than I do, that's for sure, but they are basically supermodel thin, so societally it is more acceptable for them to dress less modestly. Not that I agree, but society is messed up. Okay, so here is how the conversation with my roommates went yesterday. I asked them if they were resigning the lease and they said yes. They also did not know why their GFS talked to me instead of talking to them. I asked if they had problems with how I dress around the house, to which they replied, "You look homeless." That is our humor. Update 1. So, the girlfriends came back yesterday and we had a house meeting. Some clarifying information. I got comments about the timeline and the post being fake. The last incident where the girlfriends confronted me was a week ago at this point. The conversation I had with my roommates was 3 days ago. I made the post because I knew the girlfriends would be coming back soon, so I wanted some advice. Also, it is very normal for the girlfriends to be at the apartment when my roommates are not, which is why my roommates did not know they talked to me until I told them. And, I in no way was trying to say the girlfriends were not attractive or too thin, I was simply trying to point out that me being more curvy, I'm a size 8 and pretty short, rather than 0 and taller like them, could make outfits seems more inappropriate even though they aren't. I will not be posting or sending photos of myself. Stop asking, y'all are weird and I suggest you go to a special website, Ear of Corn, to deal with that. Okay, on to the main part. One of the girlfriends came over first for simplicity, let's call her Maya. She approached me while I was in the kitchen cooking and said she wanted to talk about the whole situation. I politely said that this is a conversation that needs to happen when her BF is here so we can wait till he is home. She was a little confused but just ended up going to his room. I then messaged my roommate group chat and asked for the 5 of us to have a chat later once everyone is here, which my roommates said sounds good. I heard them all come home, and at some point the other GF, we will call her Sarah, came over but I'm not sure when. So I went to the living room wearing my XL Grinch onesie. Don't worry, it covered my ankles so there was no way I could be dressing provocatively. My roommates thought this was hilarious, the girlfriends not so much. We all sat down for a conversation. It was very awkward lol. I started off by saying that it is not fair for anyone to dictate what goes on in our apartment if they are not paying rent. I explained that if Maya or Sarah had an issue with me, I would appreciate that my roommates bring it up to me and that there should not be a confrontation between me and the girlfriends. My roommates backed me up and said they thought this was fair and they apologized for their girlfriends, not necessary but nice gesture. Both girlfriends stayed silent the entire time but Sarah rolled her eyes every time I talked. I addressed Sarah and asked if there was anything she would like to talk about, to which she just went off on me, saying I am too controlling about cleaning and buying things for the apartment, which has nothing to do with her, and that I prance around on my high horse in skimpy clothes. I asked her what I could possibly be wearing that is skimpy and she said you walk around with everything on display. Her BF stepped in and said he disagreed and that they have never seen me in anything inappropriate so she shouldn't have a problem. She got really offended and said that he was an ass for defending me and not her. I told her she was free to leave if she has issues with our home or the people in it. She stormed off into his room and started packing her things up. As for Maya, she just broke down crying saying she didn't mean to upset me and that Sarah brought up the issue to her to confront me. She said she didn't really care about what I was wearing and didn't really see any problems with it but Sarah got into her head. Maya was overall not a huge issue from the start. Sarah did most of the confronting and Maya just backed her up with some nods, but didn't really add to the conversations. I told her that she should have had more of a backbone with Sarah and stood up for me rather than helping Sarah confront me if she didn't see a problem. She said she wanted to work on our relationship and was hoping we could become friends despite all of this. Not sure where I stand on that, but I guess it's the thought that counts. Sarah and my roommate had a huge argument that lasted almost an hour. Then she left the apartment completely with all her stuff. I asked my roommate what was going on and he said he thinks things are over with Sarah, but nothing official yet. Anyways, not sure if that's how you all thought it would go down. Overall, I feel much better about the situation and am hoping I don't have to deal with Sarah again. Thanks for the support and advice.